Hi everyone, I'm Blanche and welcome to Feast in the Middle East. Here in my kitchen, I'm going to share with you traditional Middle Eastern and Mediterranean recipes, but with a modern twist. We're going to start with a dish called Musakhan. Now, Musakhan means browned or warmed through in Arabic. It's a savory chicken dish where the chicken is smothered with caramelized onions and topped with crunchy toasted pine nuts. Then we're going to finish with a sweet treat called Harisseh, which is a semolina corn cake that contains yogurt and a homemade sugar syrup. So before we get to the harisseh, let's start with the Musakhan, where we create the marinade. For the marinade, we're going to start with the lemon. Now, in almost every Middle Eastern household, you're going to find a lemon tree. Whether they're in an apartment building or a condo or a house, they're going to have a lemon tree. Why? Because lemons are very important in Middle Eastern cooking, especially for chicken, fish, and vegetable dishes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the lemon like this, chop it up. This is to make the actual marinade for the chicken. Squeeze the juice of a full lemon. Right. Pour that in there. Okay, the next component of the marinade is garlic. Now, I like to buy my garlic already peeled because it's a lot of time to actually peel it for me. I'm really crunched for time usually. I don't like to buy the pre-minced garlic because it usually has a rancid flavor. It's kind of mushy and it has a funky smell too. So I just like to buy it pre-peeled. And what I do is I put it in my mini food processor. That also saves time because it's quicker for me to wash my food processor than to actually chop the garlic. So with this pre-peeled garlic, I'm going to put it in my little handy dandy processor. Now, I use 6 cloves of garlic here, but you could use more if you want. You could put 10 cloves of garlic for all I care, because the more the merrier with this dish. So I'm going to empty the garlic in here with the lemon. There we go. This is just garlic and lemon. And I'm going to add some olive oil. I'd say about 1/4 cup is fine. You could use more or less. That's the great thing about Middle Eastern cooking. When my mom was teaching me, she was always like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And a lot of the times, these great recipes really haven't been documented. So I've done my best to kind of document these traditional hundreds-of-year-old recipes that were made in the villages all over the Middle East. This particular recipe is very popular among Palestinians, Jordanians, and Lebanese people. So you can find this dish in any of their homes at any given time throughout the year, especially when guests arrive and they want to serve them something special. So here's this marinade. I've whisked in the olive oil with the lemon and the garlic. And the next component that I want to talk to you about is the sumac. Now, sumac is a spice that comes from a plant. It's a sumac plant that has red berries. They grind the red berries, and it's used as a addition to chicken and fish dishes, especially because it adds a lemony flavor. As a matter of fact, if families don't have lemon trees in their backyard, they use sumac as a replacement. And the great thing is about sumac is it also lends a beautiful red color. Now, you could find sumac in any Middle Eastern grocery store, and the great thing is it's very inexpensive, especially compared to something like saffron, which is very expensive. So you could add color and flavor to your dish by using sumac. So I'm just gonna add about 1 teaspoon to the marinade because we're gonna add some more sumac to the onions later on. So let's just whisk the sumac into this marinade right now. This was one of my favorite dishes growing up. My mom made it especially when company came over. And what I love about Musakhan is that it's very economical. For the price that it takes to buy some chicken and onions, you could feed a family of 20 people if you really want to for under 20 bucks. It's just about done. Now what I'm gonna do is add it to the chicken. So I've got some chicken pieces cut up. I've got a combination of thighs and drumsticks. I do recommend dark meat for this dish simply because chicken breast can be kind of tough. And I think that it's much tastier if you use the dark meat. And I also leave the skin on. You could take the skin off later, but the skin really retains the moisture and adds a delicious element to the bread, which is going to be underneath this chicken. The fat drippings over the bread. Who doesn't love that? So I'm going to just rub this marinade around the chicken. And then I'm going to season it with salt and black pepper. Because there is skin on this chicken, it's okay to be heavy-handed with the salt because generally people don't eat the skin. So the salt is just going to melt through and add extra element to the rest of the dish. And I'm going to put some black pepper. And if you want, you could give it that one extra love rub before you put it into the oven. I'm going to put this chicken into the oven for about 400 degrees, but I really recommend that you put this marinated chicken in the refrigerator for a good hour just so that the flavors meld before you bake it. Chicken's been marinating in the refrigerator for a good hour. It's time to bake. I have the oven set at 400 degrees and there are multiple parts to cooking this chicken, which I'll explain later. So we're gonna blast this chicken with some high heat at 400 degrees, and while this is baking, I'm gonna start chopping the onions. It's a great time saver.